Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of PySpark learning. So on this part 2 of data frames, we are going to cover a couple of common data operations. So in our previous session, we have learned how to read data from a file into the data frames and very basic select operations and filtering, right? So today we will be covering how to do adding a column, renaming a column, dropping a column, right? Because when you get a data set, what do we do? That is what we need to know. Like all these what I am going to cover here is a functional need. You got a data from a file, you load that into the data frames, and from there you need to do like you may need to clean the data. If you have like multiple data frames, you need to like combine them and achieve a result. And if there are null values in it, like in case of like data analysis and all, right, you may have to clean up the null data, all these things. And you may have to, if the data types are not perfect, you may have to change the data types. And finally, once you got an output using all these things, you might be writing that back to our storage location in any of the format, right? So this is what today we are going to cover. We will be talking about all these generic function which will help you to do the operations on top of data frames in detail. So I'll move it to the window. So I have already like tested most of the queries. So today, instead of loading a data from a file, I'm showing you like how you will create a data frame using a small data set. Right? For learning and testing, you don't really need to load the files every time. So I have this data set called data, which I have created. Like there are 3 columns: ID, name, department, and salary. So then I am mentioning like what are the columns. We learn like data frames are like will have schema, right? It has its own schema. So these are the columns which I am saying, like ID, name, department, and salary. Then this is the command which would help me to create a data frame. Okay, so this is my data with these 3 values, and it is like you can consider these are like different rows. And once I run this, right, spark.create data frame is helping me to create a data frame. So once the data frame is created, you know, like you have the show command will help you to see the data. And in Databricks, by default, you will be seeing 20 records. So we only have 5 records, so we are seeing that 5, right? So yeah, next, as I mentioned, right, like now you have learned how we can create a data frame from a temporary data set and as well as the file. So file, if you haven't watched the part 1 have how it will be creating a data frame from a file. Okay, so moving on to the next item, that is like adding, renaming, and dropping columns. This is what I mentioned. So what we are going to do here, first I'm going to add a column called bonus. So what are the column we had? Like we have ID, name, department, and salary. So the first thing which I am going to do, I am going to create add a column. So you can use withColumn. So what is the name of the column? The new column name. And this is a condition. I can just set, if you wanted to just populate the same salary in a new column, you can do that. But here I'm just like setting up a condition. When salary column is not null, then do like give a 10, like calculate a 10%. If the salary column is null, then you can set it as 0, right? So this is a condition. So here, if in order to run this, right, I'll show you the error. Yesterday we have used column. Yesterday we have used column, then we got an error. So what, okay, I ran this code already, so that's where I'm getting error. So let me, don't waste the time and explain you. So in order to use column, you need to use like a call function, you need to use call. We learned that yesterday. And since I am using this when, right, I need to like import when as a SQL function. So now when I ran this, it created a new column called bonus, and it calculated 10% of 3000 is calculated as 300, and I have a null column that is calculated as 0, right? So you with this condition you will be able to write whatever the calculation. So this can also be called as, we are adding a new column, it's a calculator whatever the formula, and if you wanted to set a value by default without having any calculation, you can assign that here, right? So what happens if I run that here? So it does not throw any error or anything, but if I give this bonus 1, you can experience the bonus 1 is created. So we'll see that bonus 1, we have these values, right? Let us try giving, otherwise I wanted to have this as 100. Yeah, so this is replaced with 100, and like the all values are changed, so maybe you may not be experiencing it. So I'm setting this as 22. So now you will see all these bonus 1 values are changed, right? So with column, in case if there is no column, it will add a column. If there is a column, it works more like an update statement, right? So now you know how to add a new column to the data frame. I will go to this with column rename. So rename function. So we have this function called with column renamed. So that is salary. We have a salary column. We are renaming that as like salary, a monthly salary. So let me run this. Okay, so yeah, you have this show, that is the first one, and the second one you can see it is renamed as monthly salary. So and I have this bonus and bonus 1 columns, right? So now what I would do, I can drop the columns using the drop command. So here is a drop. I can remove first drop bonus 1. I'll comment this show commands because it will be a little confusing. Okay, what is that? So yeah, so now we have already renamed our salary column into monthly salary, but in our first query this is trying to refer the column salary. So there is no such column called salary exists at this point. So when you are going to run this again, it started throwing error, right? So now I think this also going to throw an error because this salary column does not exist. So the bonus column is called removed, then sorry, bonus 1 is removed, and I'll remove bonus as well because I don't need that in the upcoming functionality. So I removed bonus as well. Now you can see you don't have it. So let us run this again, right? Yeah, drop also like handling, if there is no column, it does not throw an error. But in the other cases, like if it is with column rename or with functions, right, it throws an error if that, sorry, not here, if there is no column exist in the conditions, it throws an error. But in case of drop, there is no error. Keep these kind of things in mind so that like you should not believe that, okay, if I'm giving a wrong column name, it throws an error. No. Okay. Yeah, now aggregate functions and grouping. So group by, you already know, like if you have to group a data, right, and calculate an aggregation, like there may be total salary against a department or anything, we will be using aggregate function. So we already learned that in SQL. So here we are going to use group by to find count of like employees in the department. Okay, so let us see. I'm coming. Okay, I don't need to comment it because we are not taking this into any data set. So what I am doing here, it is throwing error. So, okay, it was throwing error because indentation. So when I was deleting that like command, it actually created a space. So that was the reason for the error, right? Now both worked. So keep this in mind, like Python works on indentation. So keep the order accordingly. If there are loop, you have to tab it and keep it. Okay, so here you can see there is, I used again another firm. that were like PySpark SQL dot function. I am using count, sum, and average. I can, like, whatever the functions I need, I can use that. So here, let us see what we are going to do in detail, right? So I said data frame should be grouped on the column called department, and it should be aggregated, right? This is like you have to be grouping. So when you think in SQL statement terms, so group by, you give the column name. So you are giving the column names here. Then you wanted to aggregate it. So what aggregation you wanted to apply? I wanted to take count, right? Count of ID, right? That means like total count. Maybe if you are sum, yeah, here you can see you're summing the salary, right? So whatever the aggregate function you apply inside the aggregate bracket, and you say that alias as num employees. So what is this, right? So you wanted to give, like, when you display these values, you wanted to like show that as num employees. Then you are saying dot show. So here I wanted to group on a department, and it should be count of ID, and the count of ID should be shown as num employees as a column, and it should be shown. So that is what this query is telling you. Yeah, and maybe in some cases, right, your requirement might be different. You don't want to see it. Instead of that, you wanted to use this result on top of another data set. So in that case, right, what you can do, you can create a DFAGG data set, and instead of show, you can run this code. I'll just comment this so that like you don't get confused. So when you run this, it does not show any result, but it created a df underscore agg result set. Then you can tell the system, okay, I have this data, now show me this, right? Keep this in mind when I am running this SQL, both the queries are being ran. Okay, so if there is a calculation which is incremental, this result will be keep adding. No, not in the assignment, the other way around. So here df.agg, so here you can see, right? So we have this department as like with the string and num employee as long. It created a new data set altogether. So this way you can store this result. So previously we were seeing, but you can also store this result whenever you wanted to make use of that calculation later point. You can create the data frames and store them. So here I have this code which would help you to see sum and average in a single function, right? I mean single query. So we'll run this code once again. So here what I am doing is like I have this aggregate function, same group by, you know why this group by is there, and I have this aggregate function which is telling sum monthly salary. So alias, you know why it is alias. So I'm giving this total salary as a name, and I'm putting a comma, and I'm telling that the average, and the name should be alias as average. So now if you see the result set, right, this one. So I have this group on department, and I have these two columns and both aggregations. So it is not like you can only do one aggregation. You can do multiple aggregations using like using the comma separator. Maybe some of you who like all of you might be watching this video might have a thought, okay, can we give multiple columns in group by? I am not giving the answer to that question. I want you to try it out, and if you are getting an error or if you are getting a result, please comment in the below the video. Okay, so now let us go into the sorting and ordering. It is same, like we have an orderBy function which will help you to like df dot orderBy and which column. So the call function, you know, which I have already imported, column, and which order you wanted to do. It is in descending, and show will tell show me the result, right? So it is so let me give a column name which does not exist. It throws an error. So I want you to test that, right? Because like more than learning these functions, you might be able to easily get it in Google, but when you are learning something, you should learn more errors. Okay, what is the error am I getting? I am getting an analysis exception. A column or function parameter with name monthly salary cannot be resolved. Did you mean one of the following: monthly salary, name, department, column? So that system is already telling you what might be the probable value, since you are trying to do this on a column, right? So try understanding, reading the error, how we can read, understand and learn from the error. So now we are going to learn joins. Okay, so we have another data set called department data. So we have this HR and human resource as the department name. So this can be called as like department and department full name. So we are creating a department data set. Imagine like there is another table that is having the department information, right? Yeah, so here this step is clear. You know how to create a data frame. So that is the same method I have approached here, like I have done here. I'm running a data frame like using this temporary data set, and I have this df join data frame which I am going to create here, where I am using a df dot join, like on which which data frame I have a new data frame called df dot department, and on same SQL on condition. So on which column? Department column, and how it should be an inner join. So I can say it's a left join, right join, right? So I'm telling inner, and I am running this code. So in order not to keep this video longer, right, I want all of you to practice and have this hands-on experience on these data sets. So try other and see like what error you are getting. You may still have questions, you can put it in the comment. I can provide you the result set as well. Like unlike SQL, we were doing more detail, but here I thought like you have to have experience, because like setting up a community edition of Databricks is not that complicated. And I'll also be creating a video how we can execute these commands in VS Code, like installation, setting up a VS Code, so that like who don't wanted to like play in Databricks will be able to make use of that video and do the same steps. Okay, so here I'm like if you run this df.join show, you can see all the result sets which is combined, like whichever is like you can see this department full name which started showing, right? So that is on this join, and then we have two more topics to cover. Not two, right? I think three more topics to cover. So one is handling missing data. So this is fillna, right? So let us see how this code is working. Yeah. So in order to show you how this fillna works, right, I have created our df data frame. Going to the first code, I recreated the data set where I had this null values present in my result. Okay, so here if you see like this old one, like ID, name, department and salary. So now you can see salary is having a null value. So we wanted to remove that null value in the result set, right? So what we are doing here, let me run this result. So fillna has two inputs, right? One is salary, and what needs to be replaced that with, it's kind of an update, right? So what should be the result? You can see a result like 3875, right? How it is coming. So we are saying to collect the average salary and fill it in the salary column. So that is how this value is calculated. Hope that is clear. So we'll move on to the next one, that is typecasting and data transformation. So withColumn, we already know that you can use withColumn to either create a column or make changes in the existing column. So here in my data set I have already like deleted, removed my column. So you can see you don't have a salary column, you only have monthly salary column, right? So in this code I am making the changes because I did that. I just wanted to show you how this fillna works. So here, sorry, I'm going to update. I know, like, if I give, instead of salary, if I give monthly salary, it will add a new column. So here our goal is not to add a column, our goal is to like replace or like make the changes on the existing column, right? We are changing the data type. So here df dot with column. So what is the column name and what we are going to change? We are going to use this cast command to cast this as integer. Now let us see what happens. So yeah, it's changed. So how like here you won't see any differences until like if there were like decimals and all. But here you can see the salary column is changed as integer, right? So it is telling all these columns like ID is long, name is string, department is string. So let me try something interesting, right? Let me try to update my department column to integer. What happens? It's updated. Okay, so it's updated to integer, but you lost all the data. The reason is simple, right? Because what was there in this department column? Department column had the string value. So integer does not allow string, right? I'm just recreating this data set and I'm coming here. Yeah, so you can see that result is coming back. So I populated the data set again, so that like we got the department back. So I hope this is clear. So keep this in with column. With column can be used for like adding a new column, and as well as like updating values in the new columns and data type as well. Okay, so now moving on to SQL. Some of the people call it as SQL, so either you call it SQL or SQL. So if you are familiar with SQL and you don't want to learn all this like dot aggregate functions, dot groupBy and all, you have this feature which you can use a temporary view in using this data frames, and you can write your business logic and queries in the same place. Yeah, so this SQL would help you to write the queries. If let me explain the code here. So what I am doing, df dot create or replace temp view. You are creating a temporary view called employees. Then you can start writing spot.sql queries. That is select department average. So same function, right? Like all these are SQL commands. You are mentioning the column name, you are using your aggregate function, and you are using the same group by, and you can run this code so that like, okay, so sorry, what happened? Okay. Yeah, don't worry, because we were doing some manipulation on my initial data, right? So I don't have a monthly salary column anymore. So I only have salary column. So here, so that like if you have two data set, you can create the term view, and you can do the same sparse SQL. So keep this in mind. This way you would be still be able to use the SQL commands and like accomplish the results. Okay. Yeah, so now like we have covered most of these functions, activities which might require to apply on data frames. So I'm going to conclude this video how you can write this back to the storage, right? So you have this df, this is your data frame, and write is the action, and mode is overwrite. Like if there is already a file exists, you can overwrite it. And what format you wanted to write? I wanted to write it as CSV. And where do you want to write? I wanted to write in the temp location in the name of employee.csv, sorry, employee underscore CSV. So here is the place where we are going to write in the def. So see, like I ran this query, so I already had it. So if you want, I have this bonus command. This is dbutil command, which would help me to delete all the files from this location. So I'll run this once. So what it is doing, it's deleting everything from this DMB location. So if you go here, now you can see nothing, right? It's there. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so for some reason that's not working. I'll get back to you by in the next video. I'll explain you how we can delete. So what I have done here is like I'm just changing my folder name into employees1, employees1, employees1 with this different file format, and I'm going to run the query. So now let us data processing is completed. So let us go to this catalog, dbfs, term folder. You can see this three new folders are created: employee1, employee1, employee1 JSON. So inside, see how these files would be stored, because that is created at different parts, right? So why this is different parts? You know that like we need to like process it in parallel. So those things we will learn it in detail, but I just want you to understand that how this is stored. Okay. So that is all for today. I hope this is clear for you how like operations are done, and this is data frame. It is more like a table. If you can see this result, how it is populated, this is like a table. You can do all the operations, all the relational like tabular structure operations which you are thinking about, you will be able to apply here. I covered only the commonly used functions which will help you to do this basic functionality, but when we deep dive, we will be able to understand other activities which, if you wanted to do some specific requirement, right, you can see if these basic functions are helping, what else is there, we will be able to learn from them. So that is all for today. Hope this is clear on these functions, and if you have any questions, please add that in the comment. And in next video we are going to talk about RDD, and from there we will be uh, discussing and understanding the difference between data frames RDD. From there like we'll be going detail into the parallel processing, lazy evaluation, and all these topics. Thank you for watching.